You ready? We are live? Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. And hopefully, you went and watched more chess videos. Although, the goal of this entire series would be that this would be all you need to go from beginner to an intermediate player. Although this would be, of course, it would take time. It would be, since it's weekly, it is going to take time for you. But yes, if you can also supplement this with other things, that's even better. But again, as I said, if you want to go fast, there are again many things that you can do with this. But even if you want to take it slow, video, okay, okay, right. So I think you can do this. Fine, fine. So yes, okay, right. So back to this thing, right? Okay. So now with this, as I told you in the previous class, I did not actually force you to learn anything. But in this one, we will learn a few things, and that by that few thing, I mean the the core, the purpose of chess, I would say, which is checkmates. And yes, it might seem a bit much, but we'll try to keep it a bit tamed down and not directly blast your head with it. Okay. With that, I think we can get started. Okay. So, first and foremost thing is in chess, what do you think the purpose of the game is? What do you think the purpose of how to like why are you even playing the game on the board, right? Why would you even start the game? So you start the game like for any reason is to eventually checkmate, right? Happy New Year, Bhavesh. Okay, you are right from like the entire purpose of the game is checkmate. And why I want you to why is this the first lesson is because I want you to understand that anything in chess is based on logic, it's based on calculation, and it's based on reasons. It's like you do this because of this, you do that because of that. Right. Now, if you do not know the end goal of your reason, then how do you base your reason on? So now if someone tells you, anyone in the world tells you that move your central pawns first, ask them on their face, how does this help me checkmate? And if someone tells you don't bring your queen out early, ask them, how does this help me checkmate? Right? Anything, any advice given to you, you should put it under the lens of how does this help me checkmate? And the fun thing is, every single chess concept can be boiled down to how it helps you checkmate. Everything, like basically everything, right? So you have the questioning instead of believing things, you can now question things. Anytime, anywhere you learn something, question it on how does it help you to checkmate. Because what's the point of playing if you don't even think in terms of the final purpose of the game? Right? Now, eventually, what will happen is I'll give you a very nice example. Sooner or later, you're going to learn new words in chess. That's called chess vocabulary. You're going to learn new words, something like outpost. Now, I don't want to teach you that right now because it's pointless. Right now, it's completely pointless. But eventually, eventually, you're going to hear that word. And when you hear that word, your first instinct should not be, okay, so this is outpost and this is what I need to do, this is what I'll do, and this is what I need to keep searching in a game. No, the moment you hear that, the moment you learn that, your first question should be, how does this help me checkmate? And this is how you're going to build a very, very strong logical basis of all your chess understanding to connect it to one thing. And now, from the checkmate point, we are going to derive few things. We are going to derive a few things which will help us further to understand concepts. And how we are going to do that? Let's quickly look at a nice checkmate. Okay, a very cute checkmate, I would say, and a checkmate that a lot of people are going to try on you if they think you don't know to play chess. Okay, so let me just do it. I think I should flip the board a bit. Yeah, so that you can feel the pain of being checkmated in this manner is that someone is going to tell you that yeah, you should develop your pieces. So you go and develop your piece. Okay, so let's say white does that. So okay, let me continue developing my pieces. Okay, let me develop this one, and then let's say they bring this one, and you continue developing pieces, and then you get checkmated. Okay, then that's what a checkmate looks like. Now, how do you decide it's checkmate? Who is to say it's checkmate? So the way you tell something is a checkmate is by looking at the king and asking three questions. Now, what are those three questions? The first question is the first question is Chirag, you cannot win in BMS via this checkmate. The first question is very simple: is that can I capture the piece that is checking me? This is the first question that you will ask. By the way, what is checking, right? Like that's also very important to understand. I think maybe I am assuming that that check is also very clear to you. So remember this idea, okay? When this queen captured here, you know how a queen moves, right? So in the path of the queen, if the king comes, right? If in the path of the queen the king comes, right? That can be checkmate. Okay, if in the path of the queen, sorry, not checkmate, a check, right? So in any, for any piece, if in its path the king comes, right? So that's a check. So in its field, in how, in any way you want to imagine it, you can think of it that way. All right. So now you kind of understand what check is. Okay, and remember that you never learn something in chess completely. You just stop learning it after a point, because let's say you start learning openings, you stop learning after a point, you stop learning middle games, and then you get stronger and then come back and then learn it further, right? Yes, if you threaten the king, it's called a check. Now, what's a threat then? What's a threat? Threat is basically telling, if you do nothing, I'm going to kill you. That is a threat. Okay. So, right now, the queen is saying, move yourself or I'm going to kill you. So, now can the king move itself? Right. So, that comes to the second question. Right. The first question, as I said, try to check, take away the queen. Imagine yourself that you are walking on the road late at night, and you go into a dark road which is like there's no light, and someone just stands in front of you. Okay, and now your job is like, and he's threatening you. Okay, he's saying me, give me all your money. And now there are three things you can do: get rid of the man, okay, run away, or what else can you do? Hope that Superman comes in between and saves you, right? So if you hope for Superman to come in between, there should be some space between you and the king, you and the attacker. In this case, there is no space, so I don't think Superman is coming to save you. But we are going to see some more examples when that would be possible, when you could bring in Superman to save you. But what are the other two options? Get rid of the man who's trying to threaten you, or run away. In this case, I cannot capture this piece. Why can I not capture this piece? Because if I try to capture this queen, I already see that the queen is bishop is defending it. Now, what does defending mean? Defending means that if I try to take it, right, someone is already there to take it back. In let's say in this very position, okay, let's just add in a few moves so that it looks that it is possible. First, okay, let's add in this move here, and maybe let's say we can do this. Okay, we can do this, and again, not here, yeah, even this should be the same story here. Okay, I think pretty much both should work here. Okay, let's just continue with this one. Right. So I was talking about the capturing thing, right? So if there was any other piece that could capture this queen right now, okay, if let's say here, instead of playing the knight out, I brought my queen out, saying that, oh, you're going to capture my pawn, right? Huh. Capture the pawn and my queen comes and defends it. All right. But now white thinks, okay, I know how to checkmate and I'm gonna play like this. But no, it's not checkmate because I can capture it. And here, even though there's a defender, I can still capture the queen, because now the bishop captures, I capture. But why can't the king do the same thing? Right? That should be an obvious question, right? Why can't the king do the same thing? So people who are in our stream, right? People who are on the chat, I have this Bhavesh told a very nice thing. If you get hit by someone and your friend comes and hits them back, that's defending. That's very well said. In chess, a check is when a player's king is threatened by an opposite player's piece, placing the king in immediate danger of capture. Okay, great. So in my friends just laugh if I get beaten by someone else. Okay, right. So now Chirag puts in a very nice way too. Right, king is weak. He cannot punch two people at the same time. So yeah, after we brought this knight out, and when the queen took our pawn, and now the king cannot take it because king is too scared to be captured back. King is too scared to be captured back. So that is why in this case the king cannot capture the queen. So we know we tried the first question, just capturing the queen. The second question is run away. Just run from the dark road. Okay. Okay, the can you run away? Can you run away? Just remember, all right? I told you the only information that I want you to know when you before you come to this class is how pieces move. And if you know that, you know the king moves back. King moves one square at a time. So in this position, let's say I would have brought my. I mean, the point is if I bring my queen out here. Yeah, let's no, even this wouldn't work. Maybe okay, takes for example. And here, okay, let's look at this position for once. And now if queen takes, right, the king can move, right? The king can run away. So I mean, it feels like it's running away, but it's just doing this. It's just going from here to here. That's what running away in chess looks like. Okay, but the thing is, it's no more getting checkmated. So if you can run away, that's not a checkmate anymore, right? So as I said, you have three questions in your head now, right? Three questions that you need to remember. That is, first question, can I capture the piece? Second question, can can Superman come to save me? Third question is that is Superman comes to save me. Can some piece come and block it? We're going to learn that in a pretty second is how that happens. Okay, how does Superman come to save you? And the third thing, of course, is can I run away? Can I just run away? Okay, so let's just go back and look at another position. Okay, this time let white face the pain. Okay, let's flip the board and let's say white plays this. Don't play that. Never play that. Don't just don't. Okay, just think that white is a bad player and he played that. Okay, right. Okay, now let's say black plays this and you go ahead and play another pawn. Again, don't play that. Do anything in the world, but don't do what white did. Or if you want to do it and then get checkmated like this. Okay, now that's checkmate. So we are going to go over our three questions again. Can I take this? Can I take this queen? No, none of my pieces are close enough to take it. First thing. Then can my bishop take it? No. Can my knight take it? No. Can my rook take it? Queen, bishop, none. No piece can take it. Okay. All right. So you're not supposed to take this piece. Okay. Now you cannot take it. It's not supposed to. You cannot take this queen. Right. Now if you can not take this queen, what's the second question? Can Superman come to save you? Let's suppose. Let's just change this position a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. Okay. Let's say knight comes out. Knight comes out. We again jump with our pawn, and now there's a queen check. What do you think White can do? Can Superman come to save you? And remember, Superman is an Ichhadhari Nagin. That is, it can come in different forms. Sometimes it's a pawn, sometimes it's a knight, sometimes it's a bishop, sometimes it's a queen, and sometimes it's a rook. So I covered all the chess pieces. So it can do any of it. So any of those pieces can come to save you. And in this case, it's the knight. So the knight now blocks the queen, does not let the queen continue checking the king. So it's just checking out. Remember, it's like you put a curtain over something, right? So it's something like that. So now the queen is not able to see the king, right? So this is how you defend a checkmate. Okay, right. So this is the basic idea of how you stop a checkmate. So now think about it. If you know that there are three ways of stopping a checkmate, then what are the ways of doing a checkmate is to make sure these three ways do not exist. So if I was playing black here, right, and if my opponent played this, I would know in an instant that okay, my opponent has no way to stop this checkmate, right? So now we know what checkmate is, and we know how to stop a checkmate, and we know how to do a checkmate. So all the three things are basically the same thing, but it's just seeing it from three sides, right? Why are three sides? Because one, you're learning, so that's the top view. Then there's a white view, there's a black view, where basically you're learning from three sides. Okay. So now you know what checkmate is. Done. So should the stream end then because we covered checkmate? No, never. Nothing in chess is completed after definition. Nothing. Okay. There's basically no concept in chess that ends. Okay, this is the concept and we are done. No, until the day you keep learning chess, until the day you keep playing chess, everything you learn has to be practiced, and everything you practice has to be practiced over and over and over again. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go and practice some chess. And more importantly, we're going to go practice some checkmate. Okay, so now and the norm is to teach you checkmates from like basically anywhere you go. The norm is to teach you checkmates from the endgame position, and even I like to do that. But as we said, right, as I said, that let's keep this fun. Okay, let's keep this fun. Let's see all possible checkmates. That's not all, at least. Let's see all the cute checkmates that's possible in the opening, and slowly learn by that. Okay, right. Puzzles. Yeah, we will go. We will do some puzzles also, but for now it is. Uh, do you know what? Chirag, Grandmaster Akash is actually going to do that. It is about to happen. Post leeches to, but it is for advanced players. So hopefully that should be useful. And it is not the usual concepts. Okay, it's not the concepts which are already there on YouTube. Those are very niche concepts, which it should be very helpful for all of you. Okay, so getting back to the chess. Okay, we have a long journey to take until we go and watch Grandmaster Akash's video. Yes, you would be considered there. You would be considered intermediate, but somewhere there, post intermediate. Chirag. Okay, let's get back. Okay, now let's look at this, and uh, maybe this. Is it white to play? Yeah, this is white pieces. Yeah. Let's say this, and this. There we go here. And in this position, I think the cutest move here should be this. No, maybe not even this. What would it be? Something else? Yeah, maybe something like this. Yeah, this is okay. This is a position that we should be looking at now. Okay. Now, in this position, there's a very cute checkmate that, I mean, it's not forced yet, but there is a checkmate. And we are going to learn more about checkmates from this position. Okay. Right. So now here, white goes ahead and takes his pawn. Okay. Now, remember in the last class, I said you that you are going to blunder your queen. And if you see carefully, white did blunder their queen, right? White did blunder their queen, didn't they? So if the bishop takes the queen, that's the queen is gone. And what if black does that, right? So do you think white played a very bad move? So who do you think I'm trying to teach it for? Do you think I'm trying to teach the don't blunder your queen, or do you think I'm trying to teach something more? Right? I'm actually trying to teach something more. Here, when the knight takes the pawn, and if you take the queen, I can go ahead and take this pawn again. And now, three questions, people. Whenever you're threatened, whenever there's a check, first question, can I capture the piece? No. There is no piece that can capture the piece. Can the queen capture? No. Can the knight capture? No. Can the rook capture? No. Can the bishop capture? No. Can the knight capture? Can the rook capture? No, no, no. Can the king capture? Yeah, no. Why? Because if the king captures, the knight captures back, and knight captures back. If it is possible, the king cannot capture, right? As I said, the king is too scared to go and capture someone. Or as Chirag said in the chat, that the king is too weak to fight two people at the same time, right? So in that sense, this is not possible. King cannot really take the bishop, correct? So now, if it cannot take it, what's the second question? Can Superman come to save it? No, the bishop is too close to the king, so the Superman cannot come to save it, right? Like the knight did in the last game, where the knight came back, right? That's not possible here. So the third question is the third question is, can the king run away? Can I run away? I am dying. Please take me away from this bishop. Answer is yes, the king can run away. Can the king run away here? No, because the knight controls the square. Remember, told you, just remember how the, no, I just want you to know one thing, which is how the pieces move. And if you know that the knight moves like this, remember that the knight controls that square. And a king cannot come into a square which is already controlled. Why? Because if it comes there, I can capture it. And as I said, king is a scaredy cat. It cannot come anywhere where there is already a knight. Okay, sorry, not which is already controlled by any of our pieces. It's the scariest. What is the word? Yeah, scariest, scary. I don't know what the word is, but yeah, you get the emotion, right? So it just does not. It just does not come out. Okay. it it is always under permanent. There was a cartoon they used to come out very long ago. It was called Courage the Cowardly Dog. Oh, cowardly is the right word. Okay, cowardly dog. Yeah, so the king in chess is Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's always scared, it's always trying to run away, but the only time it gets strong is something called as in the end game, and we'll go there someday or the later. Okay, so now the king can just go friend. There's no other option. Okay, so king has to run away. And now, once the king has jumped forward, we go up and give another check. Now, what happens with this check? The knight is attacking the king, and of course, can the king go anywhere? Let's figure out. Okay, first question, remember, first question, can you capture the knight? No, there are no pieces that can capture the knight. Second question, can Superman come to save you? Remember, if Superman is an Ikchadhari Nagin, knights are Nevlas, which is they eat the snakes, right? So there is no Superman in the world that can stop from a knight check. And why is that? Right? Why is that the knight can not be stopped? Because knight jumps over pieces, right? So even if Superman comes, yeah, I'm gonna save the king, the knight is just gonna jump over its head and go kill the king, right? So Superman can do nothing. So that's the whole problem with a knight check, and that is why knights are such an interesting piece, right? So this means that whenever there's a check by a knight, our thinking becomes just two questions. We don't have to think three questions. We just need to ask two questions, right? There are just two questions. There's just two questions. Okay, the first question is, can I capture the knight? Or and the second question is, can I run away? Since I cannot capture the knight, I need to think a way to run away. Now I cannot go back because this bishop controls it. I cannot come here because this knight control not this knight. This knight controls it. Uh, I cannot go here. I cannot go here. I If I try to come here, then this knight controls it, so I cannot come here either. Now that leaves me with this square, which again is controlled by this bishop. So even this square is not available. And in best sense, I could say that none of these squares are available. And of course, I cannot take here for the same reason that this knight controls this bishop. And if these are too many arrows on the board, let me just get rid of them all. Okay, so that means the king cannot run away anywhere, the king cannot take the knight, cannot capture the knight. So what is this, people? If shout in your house if you can, this is a checkmate. Okay, right. So this, and mind you, okay, this checkmate still happens. I'm teaching this as a beginner class, right? But just letting you know that this checkmate, right? This checkmate has happened 31,000 times in real chess. 31,000 times. That's a lot of times, okay? That's too many, to be very honest. That's too many. I really feel sad for anyone who has got checkmated like this. And if you're getting checkmated like this, it simply shows that your fundamentals are very weak. Okay. Now let's get back. Okay. Okay, let's get back. Remember, this is a beginner class. This is literally your first class, and you're already ahead of 31,000 people in chess. That is how you need to think. How many people are you? There are how many people in the world are you have more information than? Just as a game of information, also. The more information you have, you slowly get better and better and better and better and better. Okay. Now, no challenges, people, no challenges. Oh, it's not a challenge, it was a message. Sorry, sir, but we are on stream, and we are trying to create an all-in-one solution for anyone who wants to learn chess and free of cost. Okay, and I'll be very honest in the sense that I I did not learn chess by a coach or anything. I learned it by myself. Same goes to most of my friends. They all learn chess by themselves, and it is possible. It is of course slower, and very honestly, it was because I didn't have the resources to take up classes or take up coaching institutions, to put it very bluntly. And if you have the resources, go for it. Definitely, it is. I mean, I wouldn't discourage you. Of course, Circle Chess itself teaches chess for all levels, for beginners, intermediates, and advanced. You can take that too. In general, it's better to have a teacher. But when you do not have a teacher, right, you learn things more like this. Like you walk, you fall, you walk, you fall, you walk, you fall, and then when you fall for the 10th time, you realize, Acha, I shouldn't do that. So that is how you learn chess when you're learning it by yourself. But I scattered across all of YouTube. I was watching multiple things, and for most of us who have learned chess on our own, uh, for most of us who have learned chess on our own, YouTube has been our mother, father, brother, sister, and everything. Okay, and streamers and all of that. But even then, you sometimes would feel that it's too scattered, too many things to watch, right? Following one creator is definitely the best way to go, because at least you get the basics sorted, right? And technically, I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to make sure that all of you, if you just follow this religiously, I can guarantee you that you're going to move from beginner to intermediate. The entire series, I mean, not of course in one class. If it was so easy, everybody would be a strong intermediate player. Prom Arts, is joining an academy necessary? No. Very honest answer, no. Even though I am teaching from an academy, but I'm not going to put you on FOMO. No, it's not necessary. But what are your goals? If your goal is to get better at chess in 1 year, that is not 1 year, let's say 6 months, you want to go from beginner, you want to go to an intermediate level, and you want to start playing tournaments, yes, join an academy. It is necessary. But if you want to just have fun with chess, take your time. You don't have to go anywhere. You can enjoy chess, right? A lot of that boils down to what you want with chess, right? This is the idea, right? If what do you want with chess? Are you here to finish it? Then yes, join an academy. But yeah, at some point, if you want to improve after a certain level, academy will be definitely necessary. Let's say if you are FIDE rated around 1600, 1700, or even from this range, right? You've started, your FIDE rating is out, and you've started playing tournaments. Even if you're unrated and you do not see improvement no matter what, then someone who can guide you will help a lot actually. And you're going to save yourself from a lot of mistakes. Uh, since the time I started working at Circle Chess, I get to freely attend the classes, right? That's literally my job. My job is to attend classes. Now, what did that show me? That showed me that there are so many things that I simply would not have gone and searched on YouTube by myself, because I did not even know the names of it. Quiet moves in calculation, or let's say corresponding squares. These are things I just wouldn't know because I have not searched for it, right? And books become very daunting to study. I've never been able to complete a book in chess, right? So at that point, a teacher really helps you, right? So yeah, in that level, it's very important. But yeah, if you're beginning out, if you're starting out, and if you're not in a rush, join me, join anyone you want. Enjoy the game, and you will improve it chess. But I can guarantee you, this is going to be enough if you're doing this session of start your chess journey. This will be enough. Okay. Right, let's continue. Too much talking in between. I don't know how I went in flow with there. Okay, so we were talking about checkmates and we're talking about we saw two cute checkmates. Okay, now let's pause down and think about what can we learn from just the fact that we know what checkmates are now. Right, right. Or do subscribe to our channel if not done yet. Thank you. Thank you, Tina. I probably think Tina is on that side. Right, subscribe. My rosy roti goes on this channel. Okay, and by the way, this is the last time you're gonna, oh, you people have not seen my hair a lot of times also, I think, but my hair is finally saying a goodbye today. I'll tell the story later once I complete the class first. Okay, I'm sad. I'm just smiling, but I'm very sad today. Okay, now isn't that most of us? Like we just smile, but we are almost sad always. Okay, anyways, let's get back. So now, let's just look back at this position, okay? Where is this position? The one cute, not this one. Where's the cute checkmate people? Cute checkmate, where are you? Yeah, cute checkmate, here you are. Look at this position and tell me what you see. Okay, tell me what you see. Very visually, not chess wise. Okay, think in terms of white color and black color, and see me what you tell me what you see. Think of it as like a painting for once. Okay, if you think of this as a painting, you will see a white stroke on the bottom, and you will see a lot of white concentrated here, and then black in the back. Okay, and you will see a black strip on the back. So this is what you'll be seeing, right? And just by looking at visually, like literally like a painting, right, you will realize something very important, that white is concentrated and somewhere in the center, and there's a lot of white, right? What does that tell you? That tells you that checkmates happen when pieces are active and pieces coordinate. Now what's coordinate? Like in dance, let's say, see, I'll give you a very simple example. Okay, now if I do this, this does not look like dance, but this looks like dance. Why? Because there's coordination. Okay, or even this. Okay, if this will start looking like a dance if I just coordinate it, and if I don't put any, there's no coordination, there's no it does not look like dance, right? The same thing happens in chess, right? If pieces talk to each other or basically come close and they're doing a job together, if you notice here, this knight is defending this bishop, right? And at the same time taking away one square, this knight is checking the king and taking away one square, and the bishop which is defended by this knight is taking away two more squares, and that creates this checkmate, right? So we know two things which is absolutely important in the game of chess is activity and coordination. Okay, it's not just activity, let me tell you, it's activity and coordination. All right, now how will we use that in our game is in the upcoming classes. I'm going to teach you something called as opening principles, and I'm going to also teach you something called as middle game principles, and also something called as end game principles. So that is going to be, I think, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 classes, right? Now those classes are all going to be based on one simple thing, that let's be more active, let's be more coordinated. And didn't I tell you, I think in the beginning of this class, that what is the first question I ask when someone throws information on your face is, how does this help me checkmate? So now you know why activity helps you checkmate. So when I tell you do this for activity, what am I telling you? Do this for activity, and that activity will lead you to checkmate. Is this clear in your head? I want this to be absolutely clear in your head. Do this for activity so that activity will help you checkmate. Okay, as you progress you will realize there are few more things in between there, but get this straight in your head, that the end goal of anything you learn in chess is checkmate. Okay. Bye Ranjini, good night, have your dinner. I know that feeling, Ranjani. It's completely understandable. Okay, let's get back to this position. Okay, so did you learn those two fundamental things? Great. Now let's get back to the actual topic of how do you checkmate. So now in this position, okay, this move I would not expect you to see right now, okay. But in this position, suppose I give this position to you randomly and tell you find the checkmate. Look at this position. Think that you do not know where the checkmate is. What should be the method I mind I'm asking you the method, that if you ask these, if you ask this just one question, you would have reached at the checkmate. Okay, and that one question is, where is the check? Remember, checkmates don't exist without checks. You see right there in the word, you remove check, it's just mate. Hello mate, go to bed. Okay, so just there's nothing here. Okay, so it's just, if there is check, there's going to be checkmate. So if you want to find a checkmate, the first question you ask is there a check? Okay, is there a check? That's the first question you ask. And this is the first, let's say, the first thing that I want you to start doing for all the chess games you start playing is, in every position you're going to look for checks. In every position you're going to look for checks. Is that absolutely clear? Okay, so now in this position, if you look for checks, you will see that there's just one check, and that is bishop takes pawn, and that's check. And when this king moves, and if you ask, Are there any checks in this position?" You will say, yes, there are two checks. There are two checks. I'll give you 1 second. I'll give you 2 seconds, 5 seconds to find two checks. Can you find the five checks? Pause and try to find it whenever you watch it later. And for those who are already here, I know you already see everything, because you are not uh, not trying to do it anyways. Okay, so if you tried it right, there are two checks here. First, there's this knight check on g6. As if I get my knight here, that's a check. Okay, that's a check, right? That's a check. But the problem is lack of coordination. King takes, and that's it. That's not a checkmate anymore, right? And if I play this check, this is the second check, it is checkmate, right? So now you see two checks, correct? You see two checks, and you know one of them is checkmates. But the only way you come to that is by knowing where the check is, right? So I want you to make a sticky note like this. I hope this should be visible on the screen. Can anyone in the chat confirm that it is visible? Is it visible? Ranjini, is this visible? Is a sticky note visible? I've put it right over the board. Okay. So create a sticky note like this and paste it on your wall if possible. Okay. Or just take a screenshot of this. Take a screenshot of this and keep that with you too, or write it down. Anything works, but you need this. You need a visual reminder. Trust me, it gets, you forget to do even such simple things. Okay, that to look for checks. There are strong players who forget to look for a check and then have lost games, have lost winning games, just because they did not see a check, right? So first thing that you're going to learn is look for checks always. All right, I want you to do that all the time. Okay, now let's get back. Yeah, by the way, that sticky note is in my house and on my cupboard, right? It's always useful. Okay, right. Let's continue from here. Okay, so look for checks. So look for checks is the method by which you're going to find checkmates. Okay, and now we are going to go and do something like this. We are going to find checkmates, right? We have like 15 minutes left, right? We have 15 minutes left, and we are going to see this happen now. We're going to see this happen. How we are going to use this idea of finding checks to find checkmates, right? But before that, I want to just show you some simple checkmates so that you have the basic understanding, right? I mean, this is how you're supposed to, in the sense, academies try teach you, right? So I'm just giving you a gist of it too, so that you do not feel that you missed out on something. Okay, let me just clear the board if this clears out. Yeah, let me clear the board and just put a queen and a king, let's say a black king somewhere here, and a white king somewhere here. Okay, and let's put white to move. It's white to move, right? Yeah. Continue. No, analysis board. Yes. So this is hopefully still visible on the live and it's not trimmed away. Now in this position, where is the checkmate? Okay, so these are some very simple positions whose checkmates you need to know, and in this position the checkmate is here. Okay, now how do you come up with that is you just ask yourself, where is the check, right? It's the same question. The drill is always going to be same no matter what the position is. From here on the next 15 minutes, all the positions that we'll see, you just need one question, just one question. Where is the check? Okay, where is the check? Don't forget that. Where is the check? And better than is, the right question is where are the checks, because there might be more, and I don't want you to just tell me one check, two checks, or something like that. I want you to tell all the checks, right? So now here, actually, when this check wins, even this check wins. Okay, and these are the only two checks that win. Okay, so that's something that I want you to know, that like how you checkmate in this position. Okay, now let me also make this position, let me change this position a little bit. Okay, so that we can see one more pattern. Maybe, okay, this would be a steely. Let's go here. Okay, so suppose this is the position, right? Now in this position, where is the checkmate? Of course we still have the checkmate, right? And why is the checkmate always working is because this king is killing away these three squares. Okay, talk about activity, right? So the king is killing away squares from the black king, so the black king is not very active. So just by eliminating one of the lines which the king stands on, we are able to create a checkmate, right? But this is what I call the king queen sandwich. Okay, so whenever you're able to achieve this, it's going to be a checkmate. If the king is on the edge of the board, you don't have to think anything. This is a checkmate no matter what. This could also be possible if, let's say, the king was here. Okay, this would be a staley again. Maybe here or here. Okay, let me just throw the king away, queen away for some time, so that I can create this position again. Okay, here and here and here. Okay, in this position, still this will be a checkmate. As long as you get this pair, okay, this pair, this is all you need. The king and the queen, no, this one here, right? The king and the queen sitting across each other, just right, right next to each other, talking about how the weather is and everything. That's a checkmate, right? Whenever you see this, it's a checkmate if there are no pieces on the board and the queen is supported, right? If the queen is not supported, the king will just take the gobble up the queen, right? So then talking about weather does not matter anymore. The king becomes American Psycho. All right, then in this position, okay. In this position, let's say we go here, we go, yeah. So you know what this basic checkmate looks like, right? So let's also see in one more case, okay. There's one more piece that I would like you to know, which is this one. Okay, we'll see, I'll keep some boring things every class in between, like somewhere in the middle, like how your mom puts something which is healthy in a lot of fried things, so that somehow you gobble it up. My mom does that with palak and everything. She puts it in a paratha, and then that's the only way I eat palak, right? So I'm going to give all the palak to you in very small dosage, so that eventually you build a lot of palak in your stomach. Okay, now let's get back to this one. Okay, again in this position, this would be the checkmate. See, now why does it not matter that this is not a queen? Remember, all that we care about is taking away this line from the king, right? This line where the king could move here and there, right? And if you're able to achieve that, we are doing a good job. Okay, so that's sorted, so we don't have to worry about it anymore, correct? So yeah, that's how the that's how rooks checkmate. Rooks can only checkmate like this in a line, right? So the king covers some squares, and then the rook checkmates in all other directions. Okay, so there's one more, I believe, which is quite cute, I think, is also if the rook could be here, here. There's something else here. I think, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, again, that's enough Palak for today. Let's go have fun now. Okay, so Anish, just check if, this causes problems. 1 second, no? I'm just, why is this? Yeah, just 1 second. I'm taking this one here from here, visual themes, and mate in one. So, and yes, I highly recommend you to go and practice puzzles on leeches. This is what I made my student do. This is what I have made anyone I have ever taught do is solve puzzles. Left and right solve puzzles. Okay. This will bring you the most improvement, and you can do it every day, even for just 5 minutes. If you can manage to get some time, do it, solve puzzles. Okay, I will link it in the comments, or I'll link it somewhere so that you can go and start solving puzzles. It's absolutely necessary. Okay. I have a student who's a kid, and he is, I think, 9, no, not even 9, I think he's 6, 7 years old. And he does 50, 60, 90 puzzles every day for the fun of it. I just started making him do 2, 3 weeks ago, and he does it with madness, and I love that. He's the only student I still have. I stopped teaching everyone else because I had other things. I had to study for UPSC. And the sole reason I still teach that kid is because I love his, what do you call, interest. Yeah, I love his interest for the game. And if not for that, I would have stopped teaching him too. But I just love his interest. And I mean, I wanted to stop teaching, but his love for the game did not stop me. So, kept me teaching, right? So I want that same interest from you, right? Show the game some love, all right, and it will love you back. Okay, now here, where is the checkmate? Okay, okay? Let me make it easier too. I mean, this is also very easy though. In mate in one, all puzzles are easy. There is no hard mate in one, but just for the sake of it, let me keep it easier. Okay. Okay. Now, this is good. And I just want you to ask one simple question: where is the check? If you can ask that, you will find the answer. Where is the check? Right? Where is the check here? If you see, there are many checks in this position. There's this, there is this. Okay. There is this, there is not this. Yeah, there's this, and there's even this. I think there's this, right? So these are the couple of checks, or even this, yeah. So these are the couple of checks, or even this. This, I'm repeating the same sentence like 5 times now. So you can see that these are many checks in the position, right? Now, how do you find these checks? Okay. Now, at first it looks maybe too much. Okay, how do you see all these checks? So I'm going to teach you a simple method for that too. Is look at the king, okay, and draw some imaginary lines from the king. Okay, just draw some imaginary lines from the king. Okay, in all directions. In all directions, just draw some imaginary lines. Are you sure it's queen d2 mate? Yeah, it is queen d2. Very good, Ranjani. Okay, just draw all lines from the king, right? And open lines, basically lines from which something can happen, right? I did not draw over here because there's a pawn here, but you can just go up till the pawn because the pawn could be captured. So the checks in this position will be all the squares that wherever my queen goes. Okay, now what's the path of the queen? It goes in this direction, right? So everywhere that my queen and the king's paths collide, there is a check. Okay, let's point those squares, right? Let's try to point those squares now. Okay, so let's this one, not this one. Let me just do this. This one, this one, this one, and this one, and this one. And did I miss something else? Here. And is there anywhere else that the green and the blue lines are colliding, which I can't see? I am somehow not, I'm not very good with eyes. Okay. So yeah, so I think we've covered all the squares with the green lines and the blue lines collide. So these are all the checks in the position, which the queen can do, right? So this is a way for you to find all the checks in the position. But this could be a bit, uh, right? Sometimes it can be too much, right? So what you can do is do a reverse of this. Instead of finding 10 checks and seeing which works, understand what will work and find the check that will do the job, right? So it is like, let's think about this way. There's a lock on the door. Okay, on the door there's a lock. There are 10 keys thrown below the door, right? So now you can pick all the 10 keys, try one by one, one by one, one by one. One of them will work, right? One of them has to work, because, and it's, let's assume one of those work, right? Now that's one way. The other way is to look at the lock, right? Is to look at how the key structure is, and then go look at the keys and see which one matches, right? Or look at the lock if there's a number written on it, and then see if there's any number written on the keys, right? So this simplifies the process, and this is what we are going to do. How we're going to do is we're going to look at this king. This is our lock, this is our key, right? So we're going to look at this king and see where all can it go. So we know that it cannot go here. Why? Because there's a pawn here. We know it cannot go here because there's a pawn here. We know it cannot go here because there's a bishop here. We know it cannot go back here. Can it not? It can go back, right? So it can go back here. Why? Because there's nobody stopping it from going back there. So this is the only square that it can go to. Think about it. There, and this square is again not available because our king queen stops, queen stops. So these two squares are not available. So that means the king can only go back to e3 and no other square, right? So now we have one set of information that the king is completely choked. It has no squares, right? Except for one square. So if we can maintain the position, hear my words carefully. If I can maintain the position and just control that square, just one more square, and also the square that the king is in, I might win the game. So what do I mean by maintaining the position? I know I cannot checkmate the king with my king. I know that I cannot checkmate with my bishop. Why? Because the bishop is on a light square, the king is on a dark square. So I know very well that this job will be done by my queen. Now, if I know that my queen has to do this job, and I know what I want it to do, I wanted to control this square. I wanted to control this square. I wanted to control this square, and I wanted to control this square. These two squares, since it already controls, I just wanted to maintain it. I wanted to maintain it and add these two squares to it. So now, again, if I just try to do a geometrical shape from this square, I can see that these, all the three squares collide on this square. Do you see that? Okay, how could you see that? Like if you think, oh, how would I see that? It's not very difficult. Think about it, okay? Just think about it. If these are three lines, right? If this is a line, right? And this is not this one here, right? So these are a few squares, right? So if I just draw a line from here, line from here, line from here, line from here, and draw diagonal lines. If I draw diagonal lines also, can you tell me where all of these lines are colliding? They are colliding on this square. Chess is a lot more geometrical than you think it is, right? So now on this square, if my queen jumps, it is going to control all those squares. And note, we did not have to go and check all the 10 checks, right? We did not have to go check every check we saw in the beginning. Why? Because we asked what is the demand in the position, right? We asked for what is the position asking us, right? What is the position telling us? Find this checkmate, right? This is what the position is asking us, correct? And if we focus there, we are going to find the right moves. Okay, so we'll do one more position and then we'll wrap this up. But I would want you to then go over and solve this puzzle. I think I'll also put this here on the chat here. I think the chat might not be visible forever, but I will put this in my I would put this on the comment section too, so that you can go over and solve more puzzles. And when you solve puzzles, right, make sure that if you start doing it, if you have anything that you want to share, share it to us on our Instagram, which is CircleChess, right? So you can share it on our CircleChess, and we are very happy. Actually, we are growing, and we hope to grow far more than we are right now. And You can share, you can tag anything, feel free to reach out, you can also reach out to me on onion baba. I mean, depends on how mad I am about my UPSC preparation. My Instagram hopefully stays alive, and hopefully do not deactivate, right? So now, this thing is I hope you understand what checkmate is, right? Okay, now let's do one more puzzle, as I said, and then we'll wrap it up. And I want you to practice more and more and more until the next class. I want you to show the same level of dedication that my student shows, and I want you to go and solve puzzles. Okay, so let's start with the same question. What are the checks we have? No, right? I told you don't do that, right? Told you look for checks, but before looking for checks, look for what the position is asking you to look for, right? Like, try to understand what the position is asking you, right? And if you look at the king, remember, look at the lock. The king is the lock, your pieces are the keys, right? If this is the lock, look at the lock and see where all can it go to. So I know that it cannot go to these squares, I know that it cannot go to these squares, I know that it cannot go to these squares, correct? Right? Because I did not glitch, by the way. That's just, I try to repeat so that it sets in your head, right? So my king cannot go anywhere here, right? Sorry, not here, here. So these three squares are blocked. Oh, by the way, why cannot it go here? Because in the very beginning of the class we realized there's a friend in need, friend indeed, right? So the rook is defending the rook, so the king cannot really take the rook. In that case, these three squares are blocked. These two squares are blocked because of the rook, both the rooks. This square, not so blocked, so I'm going to mark it blue. Then this square is blocked because of a bishop, and this square is also blocked. It's not bishop, sorry, because of our pawn, and this square is also blocked because of our pawn. So the king is quite dead, almost dead, deathbed, last breath, something like that. So the king is almost dying. This is the only square it can go to, and it's also safe on the square it is right now. So now, again, without changing the structure of the position, because I don't want to mess up everything which I already control. Okay, I don't want to mess up everything which I already control. Without messing that up, I want to control these two squares. And if I want to do that, I'll just draw a couple of lines from these two squares, and I know that if I can control this line, I can control these two squares. Correct? If I can do that, I can definitely control these two squares. Imagine instead of this square, I mean, hypothetically, okay, it's not possible, but if it was this square, then I would also consider this diagonal. Okay, I'd also see if there was a possibility to control in terms of diagonals, but that's not the case. So I'm just letting you know how you can use geometry in almost any case, right? So now these two, what did I do? Yeah, right. So I know that I have to control the square, and I don't want to mess up my original control of the squares, right? So I don't want to move this rook, because if I move this rook, I lose the control of these two squares, right? I lose the control of this square the moment this rook moves. Correct, because I have to move the rook to control this line. That is why I showed you those boring Palak examples, because once you move the rook, right, it comes on the same line. It's basically that, but just a little bit more than that, right? So if I move the rook, I lose control of the of these two green squares, correct? So I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen, right? So I'm not going to move this rook, and I'm going to stay in control of these squares. Can I move this rook? Yes, because if I move this rook on this line, right? If I move this rook on this line, my control of the original squares did not change. My pawn is still there, my this pawn is still there, my bishop is still there, my rook is still there. My rook, which was controlling these two squares, is still controlling those two squares, but now is also controlling these two squares, right? The original squares which are marked in blue. And in that way, we are able to checkmate, right? In that way, we are able to checkmate. I hope that is understood, right? uh, I'm trying to take the burden away from you, where you have to look at every check. Okay, ideally looking for checks is good. Okay, but I'm also trying to teach you something which is fundamental in chess thinking, which is to think in terms of what the position wants rather than what you just want to do. Okay, it's basically called listening to the position, and you have to keep doing this as you improve, no matter what your information is, right? Okay, haircut story. Okay, okay. So with that, we'll be wrapping up the class, but I'll complete my hair story. So the point is that UPSC's notification is out, and I have to apply for the exam. And to write the prelims exam, to fill the form, I need to take a picture of myself, and I need to maintain the same look throughout my exam. So I have to maintain the same look in my prelims, in my mains if I qualify prelims, and in my interview if I qualify mains in UPSC. I mean, of course, that's a big if. Okay, so if but even in that case, I cannot take the risk of going, if I do clear mains and going into an interview with this hair, because everywhere on the internet I am told that I'm not supposed to be like this, that profession, that you must show seriousness towards the exam, and which I also kind of believe, also I kind of understand that. I mean, maybe I would love if that was not the case, because I love my hair. To be very honest, it's part of my identity. But as anyone who has played chess knows, that sacrifices are necessary for winning sometimes, right? So I have to give up my hair. um, will also reinforce the discipline that's needed for the game, for the exam. That I have to, I've given up something, I have to study. It's almost same like chess, when you give up material that you have to calculate, you have to win. And if the it's pretty much the same thing. So to be very honest, my hairs are equivalent to my queen. So in the UPSC world, I am Mikhail Tal now. Hopefully I win too. Okay. I'm telling you, I'm smiling, but I had a complete nervous breakdown today when I got to know about this. I did not know about it until today, and I called my friend and I was almost about to cry, but sacrifices are needed to be made. Thank you, Bhavesh. Thank you. Thanks, Ranjini. And with that, I think we can end the stream. Anish Bhaiya, can we end the stream?